This video is going to be about a little childish game that Don Exodus 2 tried to play last night. But what you're about to see first is an example of how cross-bedding takes place.
And this is the bit I will cover. So first, a little description of cross-bedding. It is the result of either water or wind acting over a surface with loose particles, more often than not sand. It's something we can all see when we go to the beach with both the tidal wet sand and sometimes sand dunes. We can also see the effect in rivers, or if more convenient, the desert, so we can know fully well how they form. When the sand or whatever solidifies into sedimentary rock, the patterns are frozen in time.
You know, the Earth's geology demonstrates that the Earth has been globally flooded, unequivocally.
Sorry to stop you this early on, but it shows nothing of the sort. All it shows is that there used to be wind and there used to be flowing water. Just like now. I guess you could call that uniformitarianism?
What you're going to see is cross-bedding. Now, this process could not take place over long deposition, as evolutionists claim. They claim the strata of the Earth were laid down over vast amounts of time. It's not possible. If that were so, cross-bedding wouldn't even exist, you see. Watch this illustration. And
here we go again with your gross assumptions, Neph. The cross-bedding in rock yet to experience lithification may or may not take a long time, depending on a number of factors. Let's be kind and assume that the cross-bedding of the loose sediment took place in a period represented by the flood. How long do you think lithification took? For that, Neph, you will actually have to do some research. Yeah, I know, and learn about the mechanisms of lithification. But even if you have done that, it gets even worse for you. Because even if the whole process took a short time, geological time that is, it doesn't mean that it didn't happen a long time ago. Surely even you can understand that. But wait, it gets even worse for you. I want you to look at this and tell me if you think any cross-bedding will be occurring here. Ready? You won't get any layers over and above those already existing, let alone any cross-bedding in such an environment. That's right, there's so much turmoil that any loose particles will be thoroughly mixed with those of other composition. And yet such a scenario is a mere drop in the ocean compared to the turmoil that you espouse in your flood myth. A flood of unique proportion and violence would produce not one single instance of cross-bedding, so cross-bedding is an absolute impossibility in your global flood. Anyhow, let's look at the animation in your video to which you failed to credit the source. Don't worry, I'll do the honors for you. And you have the nerve to stamp your pseudo-copyright nonsense over that. Still, back to topic. How the hell does illustrating a known geological process prove a global flood? You really must start backing up these throwaway statements with some actual evidence. You see, Neph, cross-bedding, though not rare, is not the norm for sedimentary rock. But in a violent flood, it would be impossible. However, assuming it is possible, herein lies your problem. If a global flood was a fact, then why don't all sedimentary rocks exhibit cross-bedding? I'll leave you to stew on that one, Neph. Maybe if you unblock me, we could exchange some views. As usual, Neph, every time you open your mouth on any of your half-assed videos, every claim spawns a myriad of questions. If I were you, I'd get off YouTube before you cause yourself any more embarrassment. I bet you cringe at the thought of any of your sheep being exposed to the copious videos that debunk your nonsense. As usual, Neph, very little real science is needed to dispel your wild claims. Just plain common sense and logic is sufficient. Come to think of it, Neph, are you sure you're not confusing cross-bedding with something else? Or maybe even this?